Hey guys, we're back for the finals of the Vancouver, British Columbia Regional Championship. My name is Kenny Wisdom, joined by Amelia Bott Miller here again on behalf of On the Bubble, and we have Alex Koch versus Chase Moloney. You've seen both of these players play throughout this tournament. They're both playing Pyroar. I think that their lists are fairly similar. I'm not sure how much you can really do with the Pyroar list to make it interesting or different.
Yeah.
I do know that Alex is running Seismitoad and Mewtwo, which is different than Chase. I'm pretty sure Chase is not running a Seismitoad, but that probably won't come into play. The big issue that matters is that Chase is running only 3 Muscle Band, and a Pyroar needs a Muscle Band to one-hit KO another Pyroar.
Yep.
And it comes down. This matchup mostly comes down to who can just stream knockout. So I don't know how many Muscle Band Alex plays, but I do know that he beats Sam Chen in the top 8. So I assume his list is maybe better tuned for the mirror.
Yeah, he discards a Muscle Band here, actually, as we talk about
Interesting.
it. So
maybe he just plays 4 and doesn't care. I'm not sure.
I didn't catch what he was searching for.
Yeah, whatever the last card in his hand, Tropical Beach. There's the bike for 3. Not getting another Litleo is a minor pain there, so I think that's why he's not going to attach to it. Oh, he chooses to, so Chase could knock it out with a... Oh, actually, does it have 60 or 70 HP?
70.
Okay, 70, so Chase actually can't knock it. He can knock it out with a Muscle Band.
Yeah.
But. And there's the beach. Oh, it's a Juniper, excuse me. And there's the Ultra Ball for a second Litleo.
Do we know how many Lysanders each player is playing?
I do not. I think... at the very least 2 on Alex. Actually 3 for sure on Alex's side. 3 or more because he just...
3 seems standard.
Yeah.
I've seen.
It's pretty important, especially because you know that the entire top 8 is going to be Pyro or Virizion.
Yeah,
and against
exactly.
Virizion, it's just huge. Pal padding the supporters back in. Yeah, this matchup certainly isn't the most interesting in the world. Mirror matches generally aren't, and especially when they're cards that are as linear as Pyroar.
It really comes down to the ends and the first KOs.
Definitely.
And how consistently you're able to get what you need, obviously.
Definitely. And there's a roller skates drawing 3 cards for Chase. Chase has the Ultra Ball in hand, deciding what to discard. Ultra Ball's certainly going to get a Litleo.
Yeah. I haven't had an opportunity to see much of Expanded, so I've thought about it a lot because it's a very interesting format to me, and it has shaped out a lot different than I thought it would. I thought it would be almost completely dominated by Trainer Lock as opposed to like Pyroar and Virizion.
Right.
So
I think that if you had a tournament that was just expanded, like a regional size 8-round tournament that just expanded, or maybe, I'm not sure what I know what the top 8s have looked like from past regionals, but I'm not sure what the whole metagame breakdown of expanded is, because I know that there's got to be other decks people are playing. People hyped Eels a lot.
yeah, I was on the Eels train for a while. I was really excited about it coming back, like everyone else.
Right.
And it just ended up being almost complete garbage.
Yeah, I mean, it's just hard when you have to like set up things versus Virizion.
Right.
When people can just play garbage. Like I know a lot of the smaller, like the league challenges in our area that were ran under the expanded format were just won by Tyler Ninamora playing Evil Tar Gobbledor.
Yeah.
And it's just like kind of like, it's just the same deck as standard except for it's a little bit better.
Yep.
There's certainly interesting things that can happen in the format, though. I think that Kling Klang, if not for Pyroar, could be pretty interesting. Eels, again. Trainer Lock, like you said, I just think is underrepresented because it's just inconsistent.
I expected to see, like, Excelgor decks, essentially.
Right.
But they are nowhere to be seen.
Virizion might just hate them out too much.
Yeah. Absolutely. What would you think about a hypothetical ban list for expanded, or like the Palace format, like a point system? Do you think think that would improve it, or just keep it basically the same?
I don't know. It would probably improve it in the sense that they would just change it up at least.
Right.
But I'm not sure if it would just be one of those things where, all right, well, we don't have Shot open. Shot open is the Wi-Fi. I'm not sure if one of those things where we would just, okay, let's ban Pyroar, and then a different deck just becomes the best. You know what I mean? It might just be such an inbred format like this, where it's just like, oh, there's 8 players, what are you going to play? You know, you have, like, literally every player in this top 8 played. There's 2 decks. There's Virizion and Pyroar, and there's 4 Pyroar, and 2 of them made the finals, and it's, I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. I would like to see, I mean, I think if you were going to create a ban list, I would like to see, just to shake things up, just go ahead and ban Virizion and Pyroar. Just purely, not even on a power level basis, just like we want something different basis.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said with, like, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Ban list, almost. I know, like, forgive me.
Right.
Being implemented in only the expanded format, where it rotates every 3 months or something. So you essentially just get a different format every once in a while.
Right.
And I think there's some merit to that.
The problem with that is that it makes players weary of buying into the format.
Right.
You know, for instance, if you're a new player and you want to play expanded and you buy Virizions and then they get rotated every few months is really kind of the fear. Magic the Gathering has a modern format, which is kind of like our analog to expanded. And they have a ban list, and things tend to get very powerful and broken. Like, there's been one good deck for basically one best deck as long as Mars been around, but they worry about banning things because they want people to invest in the format and enjoy it. I think expanded is a little bit different because so far what we've seen, it's been kind of a supplemental format to standard. So I think you probably could ban things more and just say, well, whatever, like, you're not going to play, you know, a 14-round expanded tournament, just borrow cards from your friends or whatever who didn't make day 2. But that's probably their fear. I think also, as we've talked about before, I think that just as the format grows, it'll change. You know,
I do wonder if some of this, like, just the standard decks becoming better and expanded is like a lack of exploration, sort of, since it doesn't hold as much value to test expanded.
Right.
It's kind of harder to play on PTCGO.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not as accessible or relevant to the majority of the players.
Right. I mean, it's just one of those things where you have to say, you know, hey, I have, you know, if you're lucky, 10 hours a week to test, how much of it am I going to dedicate to a format that I might not play?
Yeah.
If you have a good testing team, you can kind of delegate that to certain people. Few players actually have that too, especially the type of players who would be kind of buying into the format. Don't really have that ability, but it's definitely the way that they've implemented expanded has been interesting, and I don't think it's been great for the health of the format.
Definitely.
But I could see if they keep it up and keep supporting it, I could see, you know.
I don't think it's awful by any means.
No.
It's been rocky.
It's just very. I want to use the word inbred, but that's not exactly what I mean. It's just it's very central. Like, these are the decks.
Yeah.
But I think that, again, you let expanded go. Maybe you ban a few things here or there. But in 5 years, I think it's a really interesting format. I think standard, there's so many more cards introduced to the pool, and so it gets to the point, and this is what I think Pokemon might be trying to do with this format, is that, again, they call them eternal formats in Magic, formats that don't rotate. You can they're expensive, but you can kind of buy in with one deck. I'm going to buy this Delver deck in Legacy.
Or whatever.
Right, it's going to be really...
Obviously more than that.
Yeah, it's going to be $1,500, but it's just the deck I play. And it's, you know, the format doesn't rotate, things don't get banned often, and it's just the deck that I play now. And I think that can really kind of guide players into the game like that. Whereas with standard, you always have to keep up with rotations, and new cards change it wildly. You know, we may see the point where a new set maybe adds like one tech card into a new deck, you know what I mean? Because the old cards are so much more powerful.
Right.
Alternatively, we could just see that, you know, the new cards keep getting better and better as they have been, and it always stays kind of a little bit more of standard, but at least it'll be a bigger card pool. And like things like, for instance, the new Bronzong that's coming out could go into the Kling Klang deck. Maybe that speeds up your acceleration. You can play Pyroar counter, and then Kling Klang's suddenly good. You know, as more cards get added, it has a much bigger impact on the format right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also interesting how, like, having such an intimate knowledge of your opponents shapes the format. So, like, I mean, most of these players are at least aware of each other, if not close friends.
Right.
So they're just like, they're constantly talking and have an idea of what each other are going to play, even down to card for card lists. And
Definitely.
it leads to really like centralized.
Right,
game.
especially in a situation like this where it's just the top 8. You know, I feel like in a top, when you have the day 2 switch, you have a little bit more variety because you have to actually build a deck for the field.
Right.
But here it's just like most of these players have probably talked to each other about what they expect to play, and if they haven't, then they're probably a player who's maybe more on the outside of maybe the competitive scene, who then is probably just going to play whatever top 8 did last week.
What I hope what eventually happens in Expanded is that these players, like, having such a fine-tuned idea of what each other are going to play, as it leads to weird techs and like things we haven't seen before, which we haven't really experienced yet just because of the Pyroar dominance.
Right.
Maybe in the future.
Definitely. So it looks like Alex got ahead with a Pyroar early, but Chase responded with one of his own, tying up the prizes 5-5. Alex now has a Pyroar, and he also has a Blacksmith and a Fire, which means he can get the knockout if he has a Muscle Band.
Yep.
So again, it's kind of this back and forth game.
Yeah, it's just going to be Pyroars bashing into each other.
Yeah, there's not much the other cards can do. Pretends to play the Muscle Band, and he's completely stripped that Pyro of both energy and tools. And there's 60. He draws for turn, top decks an Ultra Ball. Yeah, and I'm really interested to see where it goes. I'd like to see Expanded succeed. I'd like to see them keep supporting it.
Yeah.
I mean, it also just provides that kind of context for players to, again, just kind of buy into the format and just they play Expanded. That's what they do. You know, that happens a lot in Magic and its older formats where a guy just plays this format and he keeps the old cards around. It also does the very good, important thing in Pokemon of giving old cards value.
Right.
You know, in 5 years, there will just be fewer Tropical Beaches. There'll be fewer Mewtwo EXs and Electrics and things like that. So you can kind of...
I think being forced to think about the game in a different way improves your play overall.
Definitely.
So when you're forced to think about different formats, like in Magic you have Draft, Sealed,
Right,
Expanded, or not Modern,
Right.
you know, Limited. It's just like it improves your overall game because you're constantly thinking about all the different things that can happen and like all the different card options.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think that any kind of like, obviously, I think that testing the current format is going to improve your game the most if that's your goal is to win playing the current format.
Yeah.
But I think that any kind of any kind of Pokemon you're playing, from literally Pack Wars to a Cube to Worlds decks, anything can improve your like play. You're just gonna see a lot of the same situations. You know, we have a tendency in card games to just kind of relate our experiences to other experiences, like, oh, Pyroar, that's just a so-and-so, you know what I mean? Like, this card is just a thing, but it does 10 more, right?
Yeah.
And so you can kind of relate to that and see, like, well, this card was never played when it was good, and it had less hate towards it, so why would this card be good? And you can kind of, anything you can do to think about Pokemon, read about Pokemon, is going to improve your game.
Yeah, it provides a lot more analysis and, like, critical thinking.
Definitely. And I also think that it is true that Expanded, I mean, this format certainly isn't, as we're saying, it's not the most fun or diverse, but playing different formats is a kind of a skill to have. You know, it is what, like, other people would say, like, when people are complaining about, oh man, what have to play Expanded, people would say, well, don't you think regional champion should be the most skilled across the game?
Yeah.
Which is a legitimate reason. And it looks like Chase has taken over.
Chase has somehow made a comeback while we were.
Yeah, it looks like Alex didn't miss the one-hit KO by not having the Muscle Band on that Pyroar, on his Pyroar, and that kind of just led to this.
Chase does in games is
make comebacks while we're talking about other stuff. Yeah. I mean, you called him to win.
Yeah. Do I get a prize for that?
Sure.
Oh, cool.
Oh, he has no more Pyroar in his deck, so I think this is actually just game. I'm not sure that he has outs at all. And he just ships a turn back to Chase.
Do I get to tweet something about Game of Fate?
It's a game of fate.
I'm so right.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
So Alex is able to get a KO on a Mewtwo here, I believe.
Yeah, but he doesn't. I guess, actually, the way he wins is KO the Mewtwo, KO the Mewtwo, KO the Litleo.
Yeah.
But if Chase evolves into that Litleo, and assuming Chase does not play another Pokemon on the bench. There's no outs besides decking.
Right. And Chase has the Muscle Band DC option.
For the Mewtwo, you
KOing
mean?
the opponent's Mewtwo, yeah.
Yeah. And there's the Blacksmith.
Or all he has to do is 90 twice.
Right.
Oh, he does have 3 prizes. Okay. I thought he had 2 left. Look over there.
There's the DCE. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and concede.
Yeah.
Game 1. He had a Leo and 2 Pyroar prize, which that's what happens sometimes. But yeah, I certainly think that the format will become more interesting as time goes on.
Yeah.
As things get released. I'm glad that they're doing expanded format league challenges. I have confirmed that there's no cities in expanded, which I understand the reasoning for, but I think might not be great for the health of the format, because that basically just means the format doesn't get played.
Yeah, cities are generally the most critical to a Worlds invite. So.
Definitely. And that can kind of lead to this thing where there's a format that exists, but no one plays it for fun. No one thinks about it. No one writes about it. No, you know what I mean? You just play it when the tournament comes up. And so it's kind of almost bothersome to have to play it. Whereas if you keep a steady stream of, even make cities 75% standard, maybe just a few here and there, I think that you can...
Yeah, there's a problem when, the whole community thinks of it as,
a chore.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. And then that's what makes this format stale and so on. And
right.
Yeah.
Well, it's just hard too, because for competitive players, I think I speak for most competitive players when I say I don't think most of us have time just to play Pokemon as much as we like. So when you have that, again, that 1 or 2 hours on the weekend, what are you going to do? You're going to test the format that you're not playing until States, or are you going to test the one that's relevant? And that's just kind of the thing.
One you have to play to get to the other one.
Right. I would like to see a guaranteed expanded format at Worlds, though. If they make sure that they invite at least 227 players or something and have it that way, or just make part of the Swiss automatically expanded, I think would be pretty fun. There's a mulligan by Alex. That's the 5th mulligan we've seen through his top 8 matches. Not too many basics in those decks. But yeah, certainly a lot that can happen with the format. After seeing the past 3 weeks of regionals, what do you think of standard right now?
I think it's really stale, to be honest. Especially with Donphan existing. There's so much of it, and I don't want to blame this on Donphan being accessible, but that can be a result.
Right, there's no expensive cards
people
in
will
it.
People will read Dylan's article, see that, this uncommon is really good, I'm going to play that, which is totally valid. And
but it does lead to a saturation.
Yeah.
Dustin also wrote an article about it just a few days ago. It's definitely the most played deck. If you looked at your local, you look at Twitter, you look at Facebook, you look at your local Facebook groups, everyone's asking for Dawn fans and Fampies. It's the deck that you play, I think, when you don't know what else to play, and it's also very, very good.
Yeah.
I can agree that it's a little bit stale, which is why I think a new set's coming out soon. But I like it. I think it's pretty... There's a good number of decks. There's a good number of different playstyles in the decks. I think that it's been a fun format. I
think it's all right. I just want to see Darkrai leave so badly.
Yeah, there tends to be a problem when the cards are so dominant.
Yeah.
Dark Patch is gone, Sableye is gone, which kind of knocked Darkrai down quite a bit. But the Evil Tall deck still exists.
Yeah, the fact that it still exists is just insane.
Right, and same thing with the things like Professor Juniper and Skyla and all of those things that we just had for so long, which is very reminiscent of the SP era. I don't think that the SP era was even, bad or wrong back in the day, but it was just stale. It was just legal for years.
Yeah. You're essentially playing the same games, hundreds of times
right,
for
exactly.
years.
You're just playing Uxies, drawing cards. They're fun cards, but when you're playing it for literally years, it's not too fun. And Alex actually misses the knockout there at a DCE, and he would have been able to just win this game, but
Nice.
it's not what happened. She's going to computer search. I assume just get a Pyroar. Yeah, it's a game of fate.
And Now he has the potential to KO Alex's Pyroar.
He sure does. He could also computer search for the DCE and try and draw the Pyro off the Juniper, but that seems a lot more risky. Just depends on how many Pyro and DC are in his deck, and also there's a much bigger risk to having a DCE'd Litleo and passing versus having just a Pyro that can't attack. He does take the DC though. Maybe he has a Pyro or something in his hand, and see, or an Ultra Ball or something. So you would have played Virizion in both formats, you think, if you had played in this tournament?
I think so.
Pretty solid choices.
Yeah, I don't know. It reminds me of Dark Ring, which I love hate, so.
Right. And there's the end, so he actually did not have the Pyro there. It's quite risky, but if you have more Pyroars, then...
Yeah, this is bold.
Game of fate. And tournament venues at, 12:30 a.m. or whatever it is now are all kinds of sad and depressing. Just people laying around sleepy, the staff just packing everything they possibly can before the last minute. And Chase draws his 6 cards. One of them is a roller skates. That's a heads. 1, 2, 3. Maybe he drew the Pyroar.
I'll see it. Come on, Chase. Don't let me down.
I think that's an Ultra Ball. Yep, he did it. Beautifully done. Looks like Alex.
Knowing he plays roller skates, those odds aren't actually that bad.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's funny too because you look at the cards that people said like, oh man, they have to ban Tropical Beach and expand it. It's probably too good. You have to ban Eels, and those cards just aren't showing up.
Yeah,
I mean, Tropical Beach
is okay.
Tropical Beach is necessary, but not overtly powerful.
Right.
Like if you don't have it, you're at a disadvantage. But it's not as if you can't
Blastoise
win.
level.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
But Chase is still in trouble here if he doesn't have another basic because he could very easily just get return KO'd.
He's thinking about a second Ultra Ball there.
He has to, I think. Yeah. There's no way.
Sure,
I think he just slams a second at Leo.
Yep.
Now I think he's in a really good position if he has a draw supporter in his hand.
Yeah. And I can't really see what's in Alex's hand.
Yeah, I couldn't quite tell. He draws a Skyla, a bunch of red cards.
Leo, Lysander, and an N.
I think it's like
Fire
Energy, 2 Junipers, Litleo, Lysander N, and Skyla. There's a Litleo. Muscle Band.
Alright.
There's the Juniper, so he needs DCE, Pyroar, and that'll be the knockout on Chases. Let's see those odds. Ultra Ball DCE.
Yep.
He's got it, trading back and forth. Getting rid of that Seismitoad, and I assume that, yeah, the Floatstone's probably not too relevant. You need the Muscle Band on the Pyroars as much as possible. And depending on what's in Chase's hand, he could just be out of the game now. One of the cards is the DCE. I believe he has 2 in hand. Maybe 3 off the prize. But he needs to, again, Chase needs to draw basically Pyroar, Blacksmith, Muscle Band. And there's the Juniper off the top.
Yeah.
But that's not going to be of supreme use. There's the Muscle Band, there's the DCE, and there's the Juniper. There's the Mewtwo. Drops a second Mewtwo. Roller skates heads. Chase has been playing decks that rely on flips. He's got to be like 10 and 4 on flips over the weekend.
So does he retreat here, or does he just leave the Litleo up to die?
The problem. That's interesting. I'm not sure. I want to say he has to retreat so that he can conserve the Muscle Band.
Yeah.
But
the Mewtwo is also capable of tanking a couple shots.
Definitely. Oh, there's the switch.
He has a switch. That's much better than having to pay that DC to retreat.
So he's debating. I think
Mewtwo is probably the correct choice since it's not relevant in the matchup. Really?
Yeah.
All right.
I think the problem is that he doesn't want to get the Mewtwo stuck active
Yeah.
and just let Alex have too many turns, but
Yeah.
it's certainly a decision.
Exactly.
There's the third Litleo. Enhanced Hammer, that's pretty big.
Alright.
And there's the Ultra Ball going in, no cards in hand. Or I assume just the, unless he plays Jirachi, I assume he's just going to go ahead and get the Pyroar. And see, this is the spot where Alex is not actually ahead. He's going to take one card off the price here, but if, for instance, Chase had left that Mewtwo up, he can give Alex a couple more draw steps to try and draw out of this, but he's going to end up with only one card in hand. Oh, he's just beaching. He's not even taking the knockout. That makes a lot more sense. Sorry, things get fuzzy around 12:30 a.m. That's also just another reason why you promote the Mewtwo, because you know it's not going to get knocked out anytime soon. Or sorry, why you promote the Litleo. Chase's deck is looking pretty thin, though. I'm not actually sure that he has the capability of winning based on the contents of his deck.
Yeah, he doesn't even grab a Pyroar off of that. Maybe he has 2 in his hand. But,
Not quite sure.
so yeah, he does have 2 in his hand. Bicycle? Blacksmith?
Alright, he has a bicycle in his hand.
I think so.
Alright, well that'll be the knockout. That'll be pretty big here if he can get the energy. Just needs literally any energy. Looks like he missed it.
Yep.
Oh nope, he got it.
No.
I can't read Chase. Just, and there's the knockout. Going down to 4 price. This is like old school Pokemon, man. There's no EXs.
Yeah.
Just 1-for-1s. And again, now we're in the same spot where Alex just needs to go 3 energy, muscle band, knockout, and then he'll be ahead, and then trade. Thankfully, Chase actually, if Alex does manage to get the knockout, Chase has the muscle band already on that Pyroar. He still needs other things, but the muscle band is the first step. Just one less card he needs to draw.
Yep.
Chasing the Mewtwo.
Just deck thinning purposes.
The Mewtwo might actually not be great to take there because it allows Chase the opportunity to just take Pyroar, Litleo, Mewtwo.
Yeah.
I mean, it would take a lot from the knock out of the Mewtwo, especially because he has to dedicate the DCEs to the Pyroar. But one thing that I could see too, speaking of expanded growing, is like if we had more of these kind of tournaments where the top 8 is expanded, I could see people playing things like Pyroar and Balloons, to, you know what I mean, or Virizion, Genesect, and Garbodor, like things like that are just like metagaming the metagame. Because like even with like something like Virizion and Garbodor, you turn off Red Signal, which matters, and you turn off Verdant Wind, which matters, but not against Pyroar. You know, that's like what you use it for, just from like a 1/1 line or something. It's possible that an alternate counter is better, but the Garbodor release actually completely shuts off the ability and would be a surprise to most players. And there's 3, and there's the Blacksmith.
This is so nutty. Watching these constant 3 energy Pyros.
Yeah, it's the best. Luckily, Chase has a roller skates in hand. But Chase actually might be dead here. I didn't see much in his deck.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that the contents don't have more Blacksmith and DCEs, but it's possible that they don't. Yeah, that it doesn't.
Chase debating what to promote. Goes for the Mewtwo. So he must not have much in hand, really.
Catcher, there's the roller skates.
God of coin flips.
As we say in Canada, Moloney never misses.
Won't show us. There's a Blacksmith.
Blacksmith, fire, something else.
Yeah, I think it might be a bicycle or yeah, it's a bicycle.
He might just be thinking about conceding here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think if maybe if he just had that Blacksmith in hand, it might be possible for him to pull this one out. But not with it in the 3-card deck, I don't think.
I mean, he can end.
Yeah.
I think is what he has to do to just get more cards in his deck.
Yeah. I don't know if he has any switching cards for this Mewtwo. this hand. So yeah, Chase ends. We'll see what he gets off of this. You know, I'm not sure what he's hoping for. Gets fired. Able to attach to the Pyroar, but I think this Mewtwo being active is a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think he had to promote it because he didn't know what was left.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure if that's actually true. We've seen Chase come back from more dire situations.
Sure. We just have to look away for a second.
Oh, a Lysander here is huge if Alex has one. There's a megaphone that's almost as huge.
Yeah, given the circumstances, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alex probably has this one. Just has so many more resources available to him.
Definitely. I also agree with Chase's decision to play Pokemon catchers in this format. Like, you need Lysander so much against Virizion and Pyroar.
Yeah.
Have you looked at any of the cards from the new set? We talked about the Spirit Links a little bit earlier, but anything else strike your fancy?
Not in detail, to be honest.
Yeah, me either. James was talking about it a little bit, but I'm not one for really caring too much. Alright, Chase goes ahead and scoops game 2, and we are moving to a game 3 in the finals. So again, I think a lot of this match is just, or a lot of this game is just going to come down to who can trade Pyroar pieces more efficiently.
Yeah. I mean, another one where going first is important, like most matchups, but
Alright.
the evolution and first energy attachment is huge in Mirror. And obviously either one of these players can just dead draw like we've been seeing all day, but
Right.
hopefully not. It would be a disappointing way to end the regionals.
It's also kind of hard when you have like junipers, tropical beaches,
Yeah, tropical
things like
beach definitely
bicycle
changes
and
things.
yeah,
Yeah. And playing bicycle and roller skates.
roller skates. Players shuffling up. A small crowd is gathered over by the table to see how this match ends.
Kind of like being here at the final hours where everybody's coming down.
It's certainly a different
excitement.
kind of environment.
Yeah.
This is so for those of you who aren't aware of where we host our tournaments, it's just a kind of a ballroom in a hotel. And it's pretty small. I mean, it's sat our 140 players pretty tightly. I don't think it could have fit many more. But like especially we went our regionals in Oregon at a big like a fairgrounds, like in a big hangar, and like seeing that late at night is just really weird. Like there's just no one there. It's so big and echoey.
Yeah, and even with these like, I don't know, 30 people, it feels full a
Right.
little bit.
Right.
So Alex gets a mulligan here, Chase doesn't. And I didn't catch what his starter was.
This is one of the many times I've seen Alex Mulligan here. Also, tournaments at hotels are the best.
Yep.
If I could make every tournament at a hotel, I would. I mean, obviously, there's probably some that can't support as many people as we need, but it's the way to go.
It's nothing better than just taking the elevator down to the tournament.
Exactly. Mulligan twice. Friendly handshake to start things off.
So Chase does get the Leo start, which is
That
obviously
looks like he
ideal.
only mulliganed once, and the other draw was for his turn.
Yeah.
Litleo versus Mewtwo. So then you have the interesting decision of whether you attach that Litleo or not.
Right.
Because again, Mewtwo Muscle Band is a knockout. I'm not entirely sure that you do.
They're discussing something.
And they're discussing how many cards he had drawn.
Alex did.
7, 8.
Oh no. It
So
was
he
all
has-
a mind game.
So he has 9 cards. So Alex did double mulligan, so he needs to draw 1 more.
Okay.
That was nice of Alex to point that out, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also what you should do in the rules, but there are certainly players that wouldn't have done that. And there is the roller skates and the heads. Man, if roller skates just worked like they worked for Chase Moloney, the format would be totally
They
different.
just say draw 3, right?
Right.
Be interesting to see if he decides to attach to Leo or not. I think I wouldn't personally. Just
I think if
going
you can-
with that conservative kind of scared play style.
I think if you can get a Litleo on the bench with a fire on it,
Yeah.
it would be much better. But I think if you can't get that, you might just attach to it.
Right.
And the Ultra Balls are way too fire, so it's also possible that you can just go Litleo bench, touch a fire, and then, oh, I don't have the energy retreat. Well, I have Blacksmith Energy Pyroar, you know, and just
Yeah.
have that attack next turn. I also have to assume that any attacks that you can get on an EX here are important, just because, again, if you can knock it out, it's 2 prizes. So if Chase can, attack next turn and then Lysander it later, like everyone else is trading 1 for 1.
Yep.
I don't think you can afford to discard the energies to knock or to do damage to them unless you're knocking them out, just because you need those for the Pyroar exchanges. But it's probably a consideration to make. And pre-releases start like next week or something for the new set.
Can't keep up too much.
I know, right?
It's just playing ahead. So yeah, it does look like he's going for that 1-turn Pyroar strategy.
And both of these players have probably been up since 7 a.m. or so. That's when I got up.
Yep.
Tournament was pretty efficiently ran, though. I didn't feel like there were too many.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It just takes a long time.
Most of these guys get very few hours of sleep
Oh,
from
yeah.
testing the night before.
Definitely.
I know I saw a Facebook status from Trevor, Chase's close friend, like 3 hours before the tournament started that said he should probably get some sleep soon.
Right.
So
Yeah, no. That's never been my...
that's any indication of what Chase got.
Yeah, that's never been my idea. I've always decided on a deck pretty early into the night and just kind of valued the relaxation and sleep.
I usually do my deck struggling in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't spend too much time at night because I overthink things and just get too tired.
Right.
Give up.
I just need some amount of relaxation before a
Yeah.
tournament. Like, I need to get there. I've certainly gotten to the tournament at 6 or 7 p.m. and then seen a list, made my own, and just leaved it up. But I don't like to wander too far into the night because it just doesn't give me. It just makes me stressed out. It doesn't
Yeah.
give me the same amount of relaxation I need.
So Alex is going to be getting his own Leo.
And Chase did decide to attach the one on the bench.
Yeah.
A more conservative route. There's the TC on the Leo.
Are they
Yeah,
each playing
Tropical
one
Beach.
enhanced hammer? Or
I'm honestly not sure.
Alright.
There's
I
a
see one in
catcher.
Chase's hand.
Another heads from
Oh,
Chase
man.
Moloney.
Oh, maybe that was the Ultra Ball. Could be wrong.
Yet another
Oh my
heads.
god.
See Chase breathe a sigh of
Beautiful.
relief.
It's like a modern art.
Yeah. It is art. There's the blacksmith.
Yeah, and he has the fire in his hand as well.
He won't need it though if he has a switch
Yeah.
effect for this.
Yep.
Or I guess he can just. Is it 1 or 2 or 2?
It's
On the
two
Pyro
on
2.
the
Okay.
Leo.
Yeah, on the Leo. That's fine.
Wow. This is nuts.
Yeah, I think that's fine. You need to just be able to stream it next
Yeah.
turn as well.
Yep.
Enhanced Hammer totally dead right now. Another Litleo, and we're in a
This is like
situation.
the best position Chase could be in, probably.
Yeah, and we're in a situation where if he can't get another Litleo, it's just can turn into this thing that you always talk about, which is just catch your Litleo.
Yeah.
He actually had a computer search in hand that I might have used just to get another Litleo on the board, honestly. I believe he had a computer search at least, but certainly an N for 6 cards is probably going to draw you the outs to it, but I might have been a little bit more conservative there. So Chase definitely in the driver's seat. Five cards for Chase, 6 for Alex. And second Litleo hits the bench for Alex. That's going to be quite good. And he decides to Tropical Beach. Chase draws the Pyro off the top. That's going to be very nice. His Lysander in hand. If I'm Chase, I just slip Lysander that Litleo right there.
It's so good.
Does he have the energy to attach? He's going to attach it to the benched one, actually.
Yeah.
And he has a Bicycle, Juniper, and maybe one other card in hand. There's a knockout. And there's a Pyroar. I see a DCE, but I guess he can. Yeah, I don't see the Blacksmith, so it might be a little far behind.
Oh, the Stylus is so slow here.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I guess he's probably looking to get another Litleo on the bench with it. He can, if I'm wrong, and if he has a way, I guess he already used a supporter slot, so yeah, he's getting an Ultra Ball, going to get another Litleo. Just has to try and keep up. Discarding a Pyroar, though.
Yeah.
Can't be good. Obviously, we've seen these matches go so back and forth. I'm not going to call it now, but Chase is definitely in the driver's seat.
Yeah, definitely.
And attaching the fire to the Pyroar, and just go ahead and beach. No more Lysander from Chase, it looks like. There's an Ultra Ball.
He'll be able to just hit this Mewtwo if he wants, though.
Yeah, I could see him use the Ultra Ball just to get another Litleo on the bench, and then I think he had a Juniper in hand as well, so we can draw some cards, maybe hit the Mewtwo, and then if Alex doesn't get the knockout, just Lysander hit the Mewtwo, go another 2 prizes. It might just be more important to knock out the Pyro there, though, especially if Alex doesn't hit another one, but we'll see what Chase decides. It just has a Blacksmith in his hand. Can Blacksmith loop second Pyroar? Decisions. I think if I'm Chase, I probably go ahead and Juniper. Or he has the Bicycle, too. It looks like he's getting rid of Blacksmith and something else. Or, maybe those are Junipers, can't tell. I don't know if he kept the Juniper or a Blacksmith, but I believe he had both in his hand. I think if I'm Chase, I go for the Juniper this turn, hoping they can draw a second energy, or an energy to attach to the active Pyroar, and then hopefully I've also drawn a Lysander.
Yeah.
Without using my supporter slot for the turn, but Chase certainly knows this matchup better than I do. And he drew an N and a Blacksmith.
Yep.
He should have 2 fires in there.
Kind of in an awkward spot. Oh, yeah. He has Blacksmith. Never mind. I was going to say, if he didn't have an energy, it would be unfortunate, but obviously.
He might not have an energy for this active one, though, which could prove... Oh, he has a switch.
Yeah. Oh.
Switches to the Mewtwo and beaches.
Ooh, alright.
I just think he's just not wanting to engage his Pyroars with anything else but a Pyroar. He might as well make Alex have it.
Yeah.
Again, situation I talked about earlier where he can hit the Mewtwo and then Lysander the Mewtwo, he just might not be able to do that. It might just be a wasted attack, basically, because he needs to be spending his Lysander if he's going to play one on the Pyroar. Long, grueling game.
No kidding. It is a little more interesting than I expected it to be.
Right.
There's some nuance to it.
There are at least things to talk about. It was certainly the Verzian versus Pyroar matches were less exciting because it was just, do they have it? Which is kind of what this devolves into, but there are at least some decisions. Yeah. And I think you can tell by things like that, like switching to the Mewtwo and not taking the damage there. I think you can just kind of see who understands this format and who doesn't. Right. Chase definitely understands how to play this format and what he's doing. It looks like a beach happens for Alex, and If Chase has the ability to retreat the Mewtwo, if he just has a Lysander, he can... Oh, he needs a Muscle Band on one of them as well to knock out the Pyroar, but if he can get the knockout this turn, it might just be too... He might just be too far ahead.
Right.
Survey the discard pile. Play the Litleo. Shuffling his discard pile, thinking about what he wants to do. Looks like he doesn't have a draw supporter in hand. So his options are here. Attach the Mewtwo and attack. Attach the Mewtwo to be able to retreat. But with that, he will need Lysander Muscle Band. It doesn't look like he has that, but he has decided to attach to the Mewtwo. I suppose if he just attaches to the Mewtwo, plays a supporter, and then hits the Mewtwo for 80 after weakness, it's not the worst thing because, again, he's at least engaging Mewtwo on Mewtwo rather than Pyro on Mewtwo, which is what he decides to do. He might have been better off Tropical Beaching there, but if Alex can't find a way to retreat, which he can, but if he couldn't, Chase could get way ahead there. Alex also with no second Pyro. He doesn't even have a Pyro fully loaded up, but he still has no Litleo or Pyro on the bench for now. And he's had 2 knocked out so far. And there's a Juniper getting rid of a good amount of resources.
Yep, that Blacksmith is unfortunate.
Yeah, and I think Chase actually played well there by not Tropical Beaching, so he wouldn't end him.
Yeah, I agree with attacking with the Mewtwo,
Juniper.
for sure.
And there's the Enhanced Hammer. Switch.
Goes for the Seismitoad.
Oh, and not being able to play items could actually be huge here. Not being able to play Muscle Bands or...
Chase has only used that one DC, right?
I think so. Palpad takes 2 ends. Sam Chen just said to David Cohen, you know what could have won regionals? Poliwrath. Chase draws the Lysander. But unfortunately can't play that Muscle Band. But maybe he can... Nope, he does not have a way, I guess. Activates the Tropical Beach, draws 2. Yeah, and see now, well, Alex just drew and did nothing, but he has the ability to just kind of get set up behind this Seismitoad now.
Yeah.
Chase needs to draw a DCE to be able to retreat the Mewtwo.
7 end, but we'll only draw 3,
4. Puts Alex back up to 6. And they've been playing for a good 40 minutes, I think. So they still have, I think, 60-minute final, so they still have 20 minutes, but it is approaching the time limit. Like with how slow these people, but not how slow they're playing, but how slow this game is going.
Yeah.
We could see it get close to time.
So many important decisions to make. Every turn takes a significant amount of time.
There's the Skyla for the Float Stone. And there's the second fire on that Pyroar on Alex's side. Retreats, and he's going to take the knockout with Mewtwo here. Chase promotes the Pyroar. And if Chase has a Muscle Band, knock out the Pyroar, as we've been saying, it could be huge. There's the 4th Pyroar on the bench. There's a Lysander going for, and there's the Muscle Band. So it's going to be pretty big. He needs to play that roller skates for fear of... Oh, tails on the roller skates. Wow. He's got to be mad. And there's the knockout going to the 3 prizes.
Yeah, Chase is just...
Ooh, Lysander can lock up that Mewtwo again. After Quaking Punch, there's Litleo. I believe Chase has 2 Lysanders in hand. He has another Pokemon catcher. Or sorry, he has 1 Lysander left in hand, I think, unless something changed, right? It's the catcher just now. Counting out the card. I think he's trying to see if he can play a bicycle. Plays a DC on Mewtwo. Muscle Band. Catcher the Mewtwo.
This seems pretty desperate here.
You play the Megaphone for sure, just for the 1-for-1.
Draws the 2 prizes, but he won't really be able to do anything else afterwards.
Yeah, I think he still has to
Comes
poke.
down for that Leo. Nope.
Yeah, it misses though. There's no... If Chase just plays no other Pokemon,
Yeah.
if he can knock out this...
He'll just eventually win.
Right. And there's Juniper.
Did you discard Muscle Band there?
No, I don't think so. It was N and something else.
Oh, yeah.
Taking a look through Alex's discard pile. His hand upside down. Confirming you to attach energy this turn. There's an Ultra Ball, discarding 2 of the same card. Couldn't quite see what it was.
This deck is really thin again, but it's definitely in a better position this time.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to win, but he's pretty close to the game being over, either way.
Just gonna do 90 to knock it out.
Yeah, they already had damage on it. 1 prize left for Chase. But so he needs the Blacksmith energy this turn and a Muscle Band to really do much, but
I think it has Muscle Band on it.
I don't believe so, but it's possible. And there's the Blacksmith. He has a
Somewhere to see the
Lysander. Very few cards in deck. It looks like less than 5 cards in deck for Alex. And we know Chase has the Muscle Band and energy to knock out the Pyroar next turn. The only question is whether he has the Lysander. And looks like Tropical Beach is being activated. Chase draws for turn.
Might be able to get the KO on a Pyroar this turn.
I don't think so. I think he would have, if he had the
just
Lysander, he would have
slam
played
him
it.
down.
Yeah. I think he's just debating now about what one he wants to attach to.
Yeah.
If he wants to just bother attacking the Seismitoad or not.
Right.
I think he needs to start thinning his hand out, though. I know he has a level ball he can play, because an end of 1 could hurt him here.
Yeah.
I think that's correct. Well, I think that's correct. Oh, I guess he has to attach to the active one to actually be able to attack.
Yep.
And there's the attack. Draws an N. Oof.
Yeah, he could make some insane comeback with that end.
He could. Putting Chase down to 1 card. Putting himself to 2, though, and he needs energy.
Yeah.
Muscle Band to get the knockout here. Intensity in these final turns. Chase has 1 card. Couldn't see it. Alex's 2 cards are energy and a megaphone. Gonna go ahead and retreat.
Yep.
Draw. There's a Lysander. There's a knockout, and Chase
All right.
Moloney is your 2014 British Columbia region, Vancouver British Columbia regional
Nice.
champion. Congrats to Chase Moloney. For On the Bubble, Kenny Wisdom. Thank you for Amelia Bott Miller for joining me today. Thank all of you for watching. As always, TopGutCentral.com, Facebook.com/OTB Pokemon. Subscribe. Thank you for watching. All these videos will be up on YouTube within the next few days. And congratulations to Chase Moloney for becoming the British Columbia regional champion.
Yay.
I love you. Good night.